Good evening, everyone. I'm Alan Cohn, and welcome to ABC 7 at 7. Topping our news tonight, Sarasota City Commissioner Susan Chatman is getting her day in court thanks to you, the taxpayers, who are paying for it. In fact, you're paying a lot for it, hundreds of thousands of dollars to defend the principle. The public doesn't need to know about every meeting she and her colleagues attend about an issue of public interest. Citizens for Sunshine is suing her over a meeting that took place back in 2014 involving she and a fellow commissioner. So far, Chatman's legal fees have totaled more than $250,000. Today, the judge heard motions for summary judgment in the case.
The Sunshine Law is specifically intended to prevent these types of private meetings.
No. We'll wait for the judge's ruling.
The 5-day trial against Chatman is set to begin on May 5th. You've heard the expression about cutting off your nose to spite your face. Collectively, that's what we did years ago when we cut funding for mental health. Far too often, the mentally ill wound up in jail on the dime of taxpayers. Now, a Sarasota judge is working to change that. Judge Erica Quartermain is expected to go before Sarasota County Commissioners tomorrow to request funds for a jail diversion program. It would provide services for up to 25 people at one time as an alternative to jail. Quartermain is asking for nearly $500,000 from the county for the program, along with funding from local foundations. He's a big-time developer with big-time political connections, but now Pat Neal has a big-time problem. A petition drive by Lakewood Ranch residents aims to stop Neal from building a new development on what they say is environmentally sensitive land. The petition drive is being started by those living in the Braden Woods neighborhood. The aim is to prevent Neal from building a 32-home development along the Braden River, the water source for the city of Bradenton.
The community is behind us 100%. Everyone we talk to is concerned about overdevelopment and the destruction of natural habitats.
Pat Neal says the development would actually be less destructive than the county's long-term plan to build an extension of the Linger Lodge through the property. The city of Venice is preparing to spend nearly $200,000 to stop the spread of a deadly disease killing trees in the downtown area. At least 67 of the trees, mostly canary palms, will be cut down in an effort to save others just off Venice Avenue. There is concern falling razor-sharp palms could be a danger to pedestrians. Another sign of how things have changed between the U.S. and Cuba. For the first time in almost 50 years, private flights to Cuba are leaving from Venice Municipal Airport. 4 representatives from the missionary organization Agape Flights left for the island nation this morning. They are working to establish relief efforts to help the Cuban people. The group says the opportunity has been a long time in the making.
The Cuban people are very excited about the influx of opportunities and the opportunity for us to grow from them.
The Cuban government is also loosening restrictions on who can come to the island. On Friday, it abandoned its policy banning Cuban nationals to return by ship. Carnival Cruises will make the first voyage from the United States to Havana next week. Remember the debate about whether Apple should help the Justice Department access the cell phone of the San Bernardino killers? Now a new twist here in Florida as the mother of a missing teen tries to access her son's phone. Jupiter teens Austin Stefanos and Perry Cohen went missing last July out at sea. Last month, a supply ship discovered their boat with Austin's cell phone inside. Now, Austin's mother is asking the state attorney to give Florida Fish and Wildlife permission to search the phone.
700,000. That's how many California jobs will be lost, thanks to the politicians raising the minimum wage.
That's an excerpt from a radio ad set to run in California ahead of Governor Rick Scott's visit. Scott is hoping to attract business to Florida, calling California's decision to increase its minimum wage to $15 an hour crippling for companies. And now time for a check with the weather. We go to Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan, who joins us live from Bentry Country Club, home of ABC 7's 2016 Invitational Golf Tournament. Bob.
27 years ABC7 has been doing this. I'll tell you, it has been a delight for a lot of the clients who advertise on our station, and this is one of the benefits. We give them a free tournament, so to speak. I want to show you one shot before we get to the weather. We're going to have this gentleman hold the mic. Hold the mic here for a minute. And this is a 50-yard shot. Dave Pelz. He's got a shot. People are applauding already. We'll work on that. We're going to work on that a little bit. I'll tell you what, here's what's going on with the weather. We don't have to work on that at all. It's been nice. And as far as the rain goes, the rain stayed away from here. We had a few light showers around, but most of that activity has pushed down to our south. There was a little bit of rumble of thunder every once in a while, but not much here. It didn't spoil plans. And just a few residual showers now just west of Arcadia. As far as the satellite and radar picture goes across the U.S., big storms over Louisiana once again. That's what we're looking at. But for us, we're going to stay high and dry here for the most part. Our rain chances staying less than 20% through Wednesday, and things looking pretty good. Dew point is at 62 and the humidity at 54%. Winds are out of the west at 8. Temperatures statewide into the 70s for the most part. 80 degrees in Naples, but otherwise 73 at Daytona Beach, 78 in West Palm Beach, and 78 now in Miami. Tallahassee at 79 degrees. And currently it's 80 in Wauchula, 80 in Sarasota, and 81 in Northport. It's cool to 75 in Boca Grande. Nice and comfortable there, and 80 degrees in Wauchula. The high today, it managed to get up to 86 degrees above average. Our average high at 82, and this morning's low was 69. That too running a little bit above average, and we're looking for temperatures to stay fairly warm or close to seasonal averages right through the week. Here's the RPM forecast model. As we take you through time, we're going to see generally partly cloudy skies overnight, and now another sea breeze front collision tomorrow. Rain chance at 20% for those late day showers and storms. That'll continue on through Wednesday, but all in all staying dry. For boaters, winds out of the southeast, turning to the south at 10 knots, seas right around 2 feet. And as far as the extended forecast goes, we are looking for a slight chance for showers all the way through the next, looks like next couple of days, and then things stay dry. Alan, I'll tell you what, one more shot, and we'll give it a shot, and then we'll send it back to you. Here you go. That first one was not very good. Here we go. 50 yards. Dave Pelz. Oh, 4!
Keep it working on it, Bob.
I'll tell you, live TV can't be.
You got a couple more minutes of
That was my worst shot of the
there.
day. Back.
Thanks a lot, Bob.
All right, back to you, Alan.
And still to come, the Braves bring their spring training to Northport. Perhaps find out what's being done to bring the team to the Suncoast. That story when we come back.
ABC 7 News at 7 weeknights. Introducing the all-new MySuncoast.com. MySuncoast.com has been completely redesigned and includes even more great content and features, including Marketplace, the area's most complete group of listings for local businesses, an all-new entertainment section with the latest news, events, and happenings from around the Suncoast, and your photo submissions. A brand new experience on your desktop or mobile device. The all-new MySuncoast.com. Just another way we're here for you.
Attention, this is an important message for anyone who had an IVC filter placed to prevent blood clots from traveling to their heart or lungs. Did your IVC filter move, break, or cause organ damage? The FDA warns that IVC filters may cause serious complications, such as heart or lung damage, internal bleeding, even death. If you or a loved one suffered serious complications, call IVC Filter Helpline now. You may be entitled to compensation. IVC filters are designed to prevent blood clots. If your IVC filter moved or broke and you suffered heart or lung damage, internal bleeding, or if a loved one died as a result, call IVC Filter Helpline today. Our network of experienced attorneys is ready to fight for you. You'll pay nothing unless there's a recovery in your favor. Call today for a free confidential consultation. Don't fight this alone. Call IVC Filter Helpline now.
Please call 800-897-6764. That is 800-897-6764.
Could Sarasota be close to getting a second Major League Baseball team to move to the area for spring training? Talks are underway with the Atlanta Braves to move to what would be a state-of-the-art baseball facility in Northport. ABC 7's Adam Cellini joins us on the efforts to land the Braves and the costs and benefits to doing so. Adam.
Alan, thank you. Since Sarasota announced last month their plans to lure the Braves spring training to South County, 2 other potential sites have entered the running. So how are we stacking up, and how are residents feeling about a possible team in Northport?
Evan, he's got a double.
How big a baseball fan is Fran Valencic?
Giant. I'm a giant baseball fan.
Fran grew up rooting for the Cleveland Indians, but switched to the hometown Rays when the Tribe moved spring training operations to Arizona. Now, Rays games in Charlotte are her favorite way to watch the pros.
And I love it because the ballparks are small, and so they're really fan-friendly. It's baseball like it used to be before it became big time.
In Venice, spring training isn't exactly around the corner. Valencic is over 20 miles from Charlotte Sports Park and Ed Smith Stadium. But if the county can convince the Atlanta Braves to make Northport their new home, spring training could be twice as close in 2018.
I think it's fabulous. I love spring training.
Sarasota is one of 3 counties the Braves are pitching for a new location. Palm Beach and Collier counties are also in consideration. Here's a look at the proposed 7,500-seat stadium and training facilities the Braves are asking to build in Northport's West Villages district near River Road.
Things are continuing to go on and progress, so we're having ongoing conversations as we speak.
Jeff Maltzby is the one negotiating this deal for the county, and rightfully so. He's worked in several MLB front offices, including director of Florida operations for the Cincinnati Reds, back when they called Sarasota home. He wants to appease residents without emptying their wallets. So he's promised a $24 million cap on county funding for the new campus, all of which is tourism tax dollars. Has that changed at all since?
No, it has not. That will be the extent, the limit of our financial involvement in this deal.
That covers about 20% of the proposed $100 million facility. So what about the rest? The master developer for the West Villages district has offered to donate 100 to 150 acres of land for this project. And since they're an independent taxing district, they may also offer bonds to help pay for construction. The county will also seek a state grant and hope a long-term lease agreement with the club can help close the gap.
Obviously, the impact economically on what we have here and what we do here, something like that is certainly needed in the southern part of our county, and I think it'll be good for all of Sarasota County, if not the region.
Venice sports bar Norma Jeans is already a South County hub for baseball fans. The Braves nearby would only add to those crowds, according to staff and patrons.
We do, especially with the Braves, we see a lot of snowbirds that have come from the Atlanta area, so I think it'd be a great addition, and on their way home stop here or at either one of our 4 locations. I think it'd be great.
I think it'd be awesome. Then we have more games to go to.
The new complex would sit adjacent to the district's 4 high-end neighborhoods and future 28-acre medical complex. But Northport says infrastructure won't be a problem.
Some of this property was annexed in years ago with the understanding that when it was developed that Northport would bring services to those areas. So we're ready to go as far as that's concerned.
And to those with traffic concerns, Valencic simply says, suck it up.
There's 1 million people here anyway. So what difference does it make for 1 month? There's 1.5 million.
Now, Collier County appears to have dropped out of the running due to their inability to provide a stadium by 2018. Now, Palm Beach County, on the other hand, was home to Brave spring training from 1963 to 1997. We'll have to wait and see if that gives them any advantage in this decision-making process. In the newsroom, I'm Adam Cellini, ABC 7, your Suncoast News.
Thank you, Adam. So what will it take to get the Braves here on the Suncoast, and where do negotiations stand? We'll take that up with our roundtable when we come back.
Have you ever wondered what it's like to save a life? Find out by donating platelets at Suncoast Blood Bank.
I'm Haley Wilgus, ABC 7. Platelets aid in the clotting process and are vital in the treatment of cancer and surgical patients, trauma victims, and critically ill newborns. It's tough to keep enough on the shelves because they only last 5 days. To donate, call this number or visit scbb.org and you can help save a life.
ABC 7 congratulates Suncoast Blood Bank on 65 years of serving our community. Tomorrow at 5 on ABC 7's Good Morning Suncoast.
Hello, I'm Rebecca Vargas.
And I'm Don Brennan. A new study might have you thinking twice about taking over-the-counter sleep medication.
You probably never heard of the drug, but you've probably taken them at some point. That's tomorrow on Good Morning Suncoast. John?
Will we see more rainfall in the forecast? Showers and thunderstorms forming along a sea breeze front? We'll let you know bright and early tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow at 5 on ABC 7's Good Morning Suncoast. We're here for you.
Is your mop a dirty, disgusting mess? You need the Hurricane 360 Spin Mop System, the only mop and bucket that spins the dirt away. A system that cleans practically anything and everything with super absorbent microfiber. Dip it in the washer side and the mess releases into the bucket. Then place it in the dryer side and push on the pedal. You get a clean mop head that's practically dry and ready for more. And your hands will never again touch a dirty, disgusting mop. The heads are washable and reusable. Get the Hurricane 360 Spin Mop System for just 2 payments of $19.99. You'll also get a Sticky Buddy, the reusable sticky roller that picks up pet hair and lint and washes clean in seconds. You can take advantage of our 2-for-1 Pick It Up special and get a second spin mop set. Just pay additional shipping and fee. And we'll upgrade you to free priority handling. So don't wait. Order now.
Call 1-800-394-1524 to get your Hurricane Spin Mop double offer. So hurry and call 1-800-394-1524. Call now.
Welcome back, and joining us for more on tonight's topic is former Sarasota County Commissioner Joe Barbetta. He played a central role in bringing the Orioles spring training to Sarasota, and Scott Air, a former Major League pitcher who spent more than his fair share of time on those long spring training bus rides, training sites all around the Grapefruit League. And that's where I want to begin, Scott, because it seems to me that the reason why the Braves are so interested in moving is that you've had 2 teams in the Orlando area, the Braves, the Houston Astros, which are moving to the West Palm Beach area. And it is very difficult for those teams to play the other Grapefruit League teams because the traveling is so extensive. You've been on those bus rides. You used to pitch for the Toronto Blue Jays. Just how difficult was that?
I actually spent about 9 years in Arizona and 8 years in Florida. And yeah, there's some long bus rides, especially when you're a young rookie. You know, if you're like you said, I was with the Blue Jays, but also with the Phillies in spring training here and the White Sox when they were at Ed Smith. Before your Orioles. Yeah. And as a young rookie, you get to the field and you're pitching that day, 1 inning, and you got to drive 2.5 hours to Fort Myers or wherever it is, and it's not a lot of fun. But spring training is still spring training, but the travel is just atrocious for some teams, you know.
Right. And by comparison, as you mentioned, you also spend several spring trainings in Arizona. How different of experience is that from the player's point of view?
Well, normally you leave a few hours before a game. So if we were in Dunedin to go play the Tampa Yankees, right? The game's at 1, we would probably leave at 10-something, 11-something. Here, you know, that's when you go to Arizona and you got a 1 o'clock game, your bus sometimes is like we would go from San Francisco in Scottsdale to play the A's just in Mesa, it's 15 minutes away. So you leave an hour before the game, get there and go, and then you're home. Right. It's just easier.
So, Joe, it does seem that spring training in Florida seems to be coalescing around the Suncoast, going all the way down to Fort Myers for the Red Sox and the Twins, and then in Hillsborough you have the Yankees, and Pinellas you have the Blue Jays and the Phillies, and then out to Lakeland. But it is manageable. So the question comes is, do you want all the teams you could get around here?
Well, I think, you know, when you look at the economic impact that's produced by spring training, the fact that the legislature has recognized that, Governor Scott, the prior governors put money in to retain spring training, because years ago, Arizona took away several of our teams, including the Cincinnati Reds. So they realize how lucrative it is.
It's not without its own controversy, because there are people who say that public money should not be going to these, you know, millionaire, billionaire type ball teams, and that what do you get in return? So what can you say, you know, this area will get from another major league team here?
Well, you get the economic impact of the hotels, the rental cars, the flights, the ancillary benefits of people moving into the area, falling in love with the area, planning their future vacations here. But what a lot of people lose sight of is the actual facility that is built is owned by the taxpayers. It's not funded by the taxpayers. The local taxpayers do not pay for the stadium. They did not pay for Ed Smith Stadium. The tourists paid for it. The tourist tax, which the state legislature put in quite a while ago, allows you to charge up to 5 pennies, and a half penny is dedicated towards baseball in Sarasota County. And that's what paid for the stadium. So my motto has always been thank a tourist, because that's who's paying for that stadium, even though all the local residents in Sarasota County own it. So I presume the same thing would happen with the Braves. Sarasota County Fortunately, because of the donation of Marty Black and West Villages donating the land for the stadium to be built, the only thing left to be done, obviously, is the funds to build the stadium. Now, part of it should come from the team. I remember when we negotiated with the Orioles, they wanted a huge deal. They started at $65 million. Then they went down to $50 million. Then they went to 44. We ended up with $31.2 million. And my theory there was, you want to put more into the stadium, go ahead. And they did. To their credit, they put about 12 to 14 million. And that's why we have such a beautiful stadium over there on Euclid and 12th Street.
Now, Scott, and it's something that you and I are familiar with, but some of these big spring training facilities, and I'm thinking about the Red Sox down in Fort Myers, they built more fields than the Major League team even needs, because what they do is they bring in youth travel teams during the summer. Almost every single weekend there's a huge tournament down there. Motels, hotels, restaurants, they benefit from folks like you and I.
Our kids will be
That's
playing
right.
down there at JetBlue Park, and you know they also play the high school state championship baseball tournament there, or not the tournament, the championship run. But you know, like I just think if the Braves were to come to Northport, like you just said, you're talking about teams here in Fort Myers, and then in Venice, and then in Northport, and in Sarasota, all the way up now. It's just, I think that would work awesome.
Yeah. And the youth tournaments are big.
Yes.
And we had the 4-year contract with the state high school baseball championships, and it was fantastic.
People may also want to know is how good are these deals over the long term? Does every community like Sarasota have to look over its back because you're always going to have somebody in Arizona trying to steal a spring training team away?
Well, maybe that was that way years ago, but we've had spring training for 84 years in Sarasota. The only time we lost it was the strike year, which I think was 94 or whatever it was.
94.
So we had that one time without baseball. Otherwise, we consistently have had spring training. And we've noticed the growth. I mean, the Orioles averaged over 7,000 fans per game, which is pretty strong. Cincinnati, I think if you were to talk to the Reds who left to go to Arizona, they may want to come back. You know, there are teams now out in Arizona that miss the west coast of Florida.
Are you getting indications there are Arizona teams that are
I think the state is. I think that's why the governor has become aggressive and made money available to assist. And I think part of the package here, based on what Jeff Maltzby in the prelim had said, was the county's only going to put in a certain amount towards the stadium, which is basically a half penny a tourist tax.
But, you know, I know how these things go sometimes. Down the road, you have to sometimes spend even more money. The state and Hillsborough County are coming up with $40 million to rehab George Steinbrenner Stadium.
Yeah, I just saw that.
I mean, it's always a issue of making your facility better and better.
Yeah, well,
but they also are locked in for.
We have a 30-year lease with the
30
Orioles. They got 24 years to go. So
Well, the
they've been
Yankees
here
just signed for 40 more years, was it?
So you get a long-term deal, and it's a triple net lease. They have to take care of all the maintenance and everything. Again, it's an asset of the taxpayers, not costing the local taxpayers any ad valorem property tax dollars. It's paid for by tourists. And what's not measured in the economic impact, I think if you talk to realtors in the area, they'll tell you, these players buy homes here. The fans buy homes here. Look at this guy's living here. You know, look, we're fortunate.
Well, let me ask you this, guy, and I know there are a number of retired ball players around here.
Lots.
But how many, and was your decision to move your family here because of your experience in terms of spring training here?
I met a girl and stayed, but I do like the area. I came here and I got traded here from the Port Charlotte Rangers when we were in Port Charlotte to the White Sox in spring training of '94. So I've been here since. I've never even thought about leaving. But I did, like I said, I did meet a girl. Been married 20 years in November to her. So I mean, I stayed because of that. But we also, her and I decided to stay because of the area. Yes.
And Joe, in 5 seconds, do you know anything about the state of these negotiations? In the end, do you think that the Braves will?
Well, I know they're ongoing. That's all I know. It's been pretty quiet. They usually stay confidential. The competition's Palm Beach. We won't know until the last minute, probably.
All right, gentlemen, thank you very much for coming in tonight.
Thank you.
And we'll be back in just a moment.
That's Chuck, proud homeowner, regular do-it-yourselfer. Today he's attempting an electrical repair. This is Pablo. He's an electrician with Mr. Sparky. How's he doing, Pablo?
Terrible, Mike.
Yeah. What Chuck doesn't realize is that almost 68,000 home fires are caused every year by electrical problems.
What?
If he doesn't have the proper tools and training, he's liable to start the next one.
Little help here.
That's what I'm talking about.
Call 888
Sparky.
You might want to write that number down.
If you have a suspicion for harboring prostate cancer, we have a way of diagnosing by using an exquisite instrument called three-dimensional color flow power Doppler ultrasound. Using this system, we can identify abnormalities within the prostate that you could otherwise never detect. The Dotoli Cancer Center is the only center in the southeastern United States which has this technology. If you have prostate cancer, we will find it.
US Med has great news for anyone living with diabetes.
If you have Medicare, private insurance, or prescription drug coverage, US Med will ship a new glucose meter right to your home.
And shipping is free.
My new meter uses only a speck of blood, so it's less painful than my previous meter.
If you have Medicare, private insurance, or prescription drug coverage, you're covered with US Med. We're welcoming new patients, even if your current provider can't supply you anymore.
I don't even have to test on my fingers anymore. I can test on my hand or forearms, and it's more accurate than my old meter.
So call US Med today, and you'll have a choice of 2 great meters.
One that actually speaks your results, or a meter so small it fits on the bottle of strips.
Act now, and US Med will include a free prescription discount card. We'll also send you a free diabetes cookbook. This is your opportunity.
So call US Med today.
You'll be glad you did.
Welcome back. Interstate construction, it causes major traffic problems, but it has to be accommodated for the growing population here on the Suncoast. As work on University Parkway wraps up next year, a new project will begin on State Road 64 for those already fighting congestion. The idea of construction going on until 2020 isn't welcome news, and here's what you had to say. Dan Hook Jr. writes, so for once, Manatee County is planning for a future traffic. Wonderful. However, this is one of the few functioning interchanges in the area. What about fixing others that need it more? 301 and I-75 is horrendous. It takes over 30 minutes to get onto the interstate in the mornings, and I have seen 2 accidents just this week involving people merging onto the interstate going southbound. And Heidi Weichel writes, all this construction makes me want to move very far away, as the little hometown where I was born seems but a distant memory. That really makes us sad. But if you'd like to join the conversation about tonight's topic, just visit our Facebook page at facebook.com/news@7. And that is all the time we have for this evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Alan Cohn. Have a good night.
Hi, I'm Joan London, and if you're worried about your parent or a loved one living alone like I was, and you want reliable senior care information, then call A Place for Mom, the nation's largest senior living referral service. You'll get free information on assisted living, Alzheimer's care, nursing homes, even important financial information.
They had obviously researched every place, not just given me names. They found me a place for what she could afford, and it was magnificent.
We're now very confident that she's safe, and they just helped every step of the way, and I can't thank them enough.
So if you're struggling to find reliable senior living information, call A Place for Mom. This is a free service, and you can trust them to help you.
Call right now to get your free Senior Care Compass ebook. Find out about the 5 best-kept secrets on financing senior care and assisted living.
Call now, 800-290-0352. 800-290-0352.
This is a special health alert for seniors suffering with joint pain. If you have Medicare insurance, you may qualify for high-quality support braces at little or no cost.
I'm thrilled with my knee braces.
Now, there is a simple and proven solution for seniors to get out of pain with state-of-the-art support braces.
I barely feel any pain at all.
Braces for your knees and back, as well as your shoulders and ankles, too.
I'm so happy with the quality of these braces.
Call now, and you could qualify for a pain-relieving brace at little or no cost.
I can play ball again, and it doesn't hurt.
And because of my Medicare coverage, it costs me next to nothing.
So call now.
And because I have this red, white, and blue Medicare card, my braces have cost me just about nothing.
It's true. You may get a knee, back, shoulder, and ankle brace at little or no cost.
They qualified me for 2 knee braces and a back brace.
If you have knee or back pain, give them a call. They can help.
1-800-476-8967. 1-800-476-8967.